Anthony, we're back in our call, and I was hearing tell us a little bit about visiting angels, and sincerely, I found a lot of common ground because I personally, my personal story too. I started RDS late in my career. I've always been a professional in our industry, but I worked for corporations, and that was, but. Uh, After the last economic debacle of 2008, the things weren't, we didn't foresee the future unless we made an entrepreneurial decision. And I remember having a conversation with my wife in the kitchen and say, you know, this is a decision that I need to make. Will you support me? And of course, as always, Maxine has always supported me, and then we got this company off the ground. But more important, I think you spoke a little bit about your experience in getting your business started because your professional career was changing. Um, I always find, what would be your advice to any person that is considering starting because of economic conditions or whatever conditions they want to start something of their own business? What would be your personal words to those people to consider?
Well, as you know, being an entrepreneur, it takes a tremendous leap of faith. You have to have um, a partnership. I have to tell you that I have a very brilliant wife in the sense that um, she's very grounded. It's okay to be a solo entrepreneur. I think that's okay, but what I'm trying to say is you need the support. You
Hmm.
need to take a leap of faith and maybe be a little crazy too, because I think that it's you're venturing out there. Um, the only source of income we had, to be honest with you, was you know there were two things. What we invested basically our money that we had saved. It wasn't a major investment. We had looked at other franchises, like for instance, a Subway, I believe at the time was, I think you had to buy the oven, which was like $40,000, $30,000 just for the oven. And it wasn't a storefront, it was in a gas station. And then my wife said, I don't want anything to do with, food production and food inspection, because,
Hmm.
working as a manager of a store, of a Borders, it had a cafe, and you had to do all that stuff.
Hmm.
So she has some knowledge base. But I think also too, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you have to have, like, my background is marketing and public relations. So I handle one portion of it. I handle one port, and so my knowledge base was important because I knew how to market whatever it was that we put together or decided to buy. My wife had 20 something years of management experience in the Federated Macy's Bird Eyes chain. So she knew how to manage people and organizations and operations. So she had that. So those tools that we had beyond the leap of faith and the small investment money was what we put out there. Now, the reason we decided on a franchise is because a franchise is already, because we came from a corporate world, it already had a template.
Got
It
it.
already had something that you could follow. And based on our research, so I'm going to tell people, do your homework if you're going to do that. Do your homework, go check it out, make sure it's legit, make sure they've got their own strong operational. And then the franchise, I mean, franchises have, good and bad depending, but generally you get that, all of that. A small business gets all that support from a national brand. So for us, the template was set. We're allowed a lot of local leeway to do everything. And so, my sales, marketing, and public relations experience, I was the face on the outside and she was the face on the inside.
Okay.
And
Great.
we put it all together. But to be honest with you, they were 3 years. We didn't have any health insurance because who could afford that? You get laid off from a company, they give you COBRA, which is more expensive than what you were paying.
For sure.
We took a leap of faith. Since we lost our jobs, the Florida Kid Care took care of the kids and they kept the same doctor. But, a couple of years ago, I looked at it and I said, oh my God, we didn't have healthcare. If I would have gotten hit by a car, I would have to go either to the Jackson or whatever. But it takes a tremendous leap of faith in your personal brand, your personal marketing, but you have to have some skill sets to do it right. And if you do that right, you can move forward. But we had a brand that was behind us. Now,
Right. Yeah.
like yourself, you started things from scratch. It's a little different. However, you did have the skill sets in the products that you were going
For
to
sure.
move forward.
Yeah.
So I tell people, don't get into something you have no idea about. You should have at least a base knowledge to move forward, because it's not that easy to start from scratch.
Right.
It's better to have a knowledge base, then move into it, or have people in your team who have a certain skill set that can support you. And then from there, we've grown it, obviously. But,
Beautiful. Beautiful. No, that's great advice, and obviously, and now that you tell us and you share with us the story and the players, and obviously it starts with a very good partnership, a good foundation, and a passion for what you do, and a leap of faith, and a little bit of risk taking. But if that's combined with faith that you're going to make it through, that's an important thing. So in your case, you followed a franchise a model, which is very commendable. But still, the franchise model, that's not the business. It's
mm-mm.
what you make out of it. I mean, within franchises, I'm sure there's different levels of performance. You seem to be uh, uh, efficiently running your business within the model. So I commend you for
But
that.
there's one other thing I want to say, and you do the same thing.
Mhm.
What we took away from being in the business that we've been for all these years is a really strong, powerful, genuine customer service. That saves you from everything else.
Mhm.
Because if you give the clients what their expectations with kindness, and even our caregivers as well, everyone has to have the same level of care and customer service. And we brought that to the table to our industry, because honestly, the way we answer the phones and the way we receive our families, they always tell us. If anything else I take away is that we're very professional and
Good,
caring.
good.
But you have to do it, because you can have a pizza shop, or you can have supplying office equipment like you do, or caring for families. It's all the same.
Right.
If you can be friendly and customer service driven, to care about the person who calls you, then you're going to win all the time.
Well, that's obviously the key. The personal touch is always make the personal touch, and customer. A lot of people talk about customer service. It's a big war, but ultimately it becomes about empowering the people that are working for you to. I boil it down to the principle: do unto others as you'd like others to do unto you. So
100%.
if you treat people with respect, and with integrity, and you treat them with the right. Putting yourself in the customer shoes in a way, then you will establish a different level of connection, and it's going to be appreciated as customer service. And also obviously, and that is empowering the people. To me, has always been the best. Obviously, selecting the right people to be members of your team, but also empowering them so that they can actually have freedom and have ownership on what they do. That's always been a model for us, and then obviously sharing with you as well. Well, great. Well, great conversation today. We're really
Thank you.
appreciative of your time. We're going to take another short break, and we'll be back in a minute. Okay.